If your dog has ever had bad breath that made you turn your head away, or gas that cleared out the whole living room, or stool that's just not quite right week after week, I need you to stop scrolling for the next few minutes. Because what I'm about to show you tonight could be the single easiest change you make for your dog's entire digestive system. And most owners have no idea it's sitting in their kitchen cabinet right now. I'm Dr. Waterling Lee. I've spent my career working with dogs and cats, elbow deep in exactly this kind of problem. Gut issues that owners think are just how their dog is, when really they're signs of a digestive system that's quietly struggling. And tonight, I'm going to walk you through something so simple, so cheap, and so backed by real veterinary science that you're going to wonder why nobody told you sooner. But before I tell you what it is, I want you to understand why it works. Because if you just add it without knowing the why, you won't do it consistently, and consistency is where the real transformation happens. Let's talk about your dog's gut for a second. Inside that belly is an entire ecosystem, trillions of bacteria, some good, some bad, constantly fighting for space. When the good bacteria are winning, you get a dog with solid stool, freshish breath, a shiny coat, steady energy, and a strong immune system. When the bad bacteria start to win because of stress, poor diet, antibiotics, aging, or just low fiber, you get the opposite. Soft stool, gas, itchy skin, even anxiety, believe it or not, because the gut and the brain are wired together through what we call the gut-brain axis. Here's the part most owners never hear from their vet, simply because there isn't time in a 15-minute appointment. The single biggest lever you have over that ecosystem isn't a prescription, it's fiber. And there's one specific source of fiber that I recommend more than almost anything else in my career. Plain, pure, canned pumpkin. Not pumpkin pie filling. That's loaded with sugar and spices that can upset a dog's stomach even further. I'm talking about 100% pure canned pumpkin, or fresh pumpkin you've steamed and mashed yourself, with nothing added. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, isn't that just an old wives' tale? And I get why you'd think that. But here's the actual science behind it, and I want you to really absorb this part, because it's going to change how you think about your dog's food forever. Pumpkin is what we call a moderate fermentable fiber. That means it contains both soluble and insoluble fiber in a ratio that's incredibly gentle on the gut. The soluble fiber acts almost like a sponge in the intestines. It absorbs excess water when your dog has diarrhea, which firms up loose stool. But here's the twist. That same fiber also adds bulk and moisture when your dog is constipated, which is why vets like me recommend it for both ends of the spectrum. It's one of the only foods that works in both directions, because it's not treating a symptom, it's supporting the environment the gut needs to regulate itself. And then there's the fermentation piece, which is honestly my favorite part of this whole story. As that fiber moves through the colon, the good bacteria in your dog's gut ferment it and produce something called short-chain fatty acids. Butyrate is the big one. Butyrate is basically fuel for the cells lining your dog's intestines. It strengthens the gut lining, reduces inflammation, and helps keep those bad bacteria from getting a foothold. In plain English, you're not just adding fiber, you're feeding the good bacteria a meal so they can outcompete the bad ones. Now stay with me, because there's a detail here that most people get wrong, and it's the difference between this actually working and it doing nothing at all. Dosage matters. A lot. For a small dog, under 20 pounds, you're looking at about 1 to 2 teaspoons per meal. For a medium dog, 20 to 50 pounds, 1 to 2 tablespoons per meal. For a large dog, over 50 pounds, you can go up to a quarter cup per meal. Start on the lower end for the first few days and watch how your dog responds, because every gut is different, and too much fiber too fast can actually cause the opposite problem you're trying to fix. Mix it directly into their regular food, once or twice a day. You should start to notice a difference in stool quality within 2 to 4 days. Coat and energy improvements usually take a little longer. Think 2 to 3 weeks of consistent use, because you're rebuilding an ecosystem, not flipping a switch. Now here's something I have to be completely honest with you about, because part of my job is protecting your dog, not just giving you a quick fix. Pumpkin is not a cure-all. If your dog has ongoing diarrhea, vomiting, blood in the stool, sudden weight loss, or a loss of appetite, that is not a add some pumpkin and wait situation. That's a call your vet today situation. Chronic digestive issues can be a sign of parasites, food allergies, pancreatitis, or something more serious. and pumpkin should never replace a proper diagnosis. Think of what I'm sharing tonight as a foundational support tool for a normal, healthy gut that just needs a boost, not a substitute for veterinary care when something is genuinely wrong. I also want to flag this clearly. If your dog is diabetic, talk to your vet before adding pumpkin, since it does contain natural sugars that can affect blood glucose in some dogs. And always introduce any new food gradually. Sudden changes, even healthy ones, can upset a sensitive stomach. Before we move on, let me address something I hear constantly in my messages. Doctor, my dog already eats a premium food with fiber in it. Why would pumpkin make any difference? Fair question. Here's the honest answer. Most commercial dog foods use fiber sources like beet pulp or cellulose, which are fine, but they're processed and often present in smaller, standardized amounts designed for the average dog, not your dog. Your dog's gut, their stress levels, their age, their breed, their history of antibiotics or illness, all of that makes their microbiome unique. Pumpkin gives you a flexible, natural, whole food way to fine-tune that fiber intake to what your specific dog needs, in a way a bag of kibble simply can't adjust to in real time. Think of kibble as the baseline, and pumpkin as the dial you get to turn. I also want to touch on something a lot of owners don't connect until I explain it. Remember that gut-brain axis I mentioned earlier? This is where it gets really interesting. The gut produces a huge percentage of your dog's serotonin, one of the key chemicals involved in mood and calmness. When the gut is inflamed or imbalanced, that production gets disrupted. I've had owners tell me their anxious, reactive dog became noticeably calmer within weeks of fixing chronic digestive issues. Not because we treated the anxiety directly, but because we treated the gut that was quietly driving it. I'm not saying pumpkin alone will fix a dog with serious behavioral issues. That requires proper training and sometimes professional support. But I am saying that an inflamed, unhappy gut can absolutely show up as an unhappy, unsettled dog. Let's also talk about the coat and skin connection, because this is the one that surprises people the most. A large share of your dog's immune system lives in the gut. When that gut is inflamed, the immune system often overreacts to things it normally wouldn't, which shows up as itchy skin, hot spots, excessive shedding, or a coat that just looks tired no matter how many baths or supplements you throw at it. Owners spend an enormous amount of money on medicated shampoos and skin supplements when the root cause is sitting quietly in the digestive system the entire time. I'm not saying skip the vet visit if your dog has a real skin condition. I'm saying don't be surprised if supporting the gut clears up problems that seemed completely unrelated on the surface. Now let's talk about what to watch for as you start this, because I want you to feel confident, not anxious while you're doing this. In the first day or two, it's completely normal to see slightly softer stool as your dog's system adjusts to the new fiber. That's not a red flag, that's your dog's gut recalibrating. What you're watching for is the trend over the following week. Are things firming up? Is the color and consistency looking more normal? Is your dog still eating and acting like themselves? If yes, you're on the right track. If stool gets dramatically worse, if your dog seems lethargic, or if you see vomiting, stop and call your vet, because that tells us something else may be going on that pumpkin isn't going to fix on its own. Now let's talk about the second half of this, because pumpkin alone is powerful, but there's a way to make it even more effective, and almost nobody combines these two correctly. Probiotics, specifically a canine-specific probiotic strain, not a human one, because dogs have a completely different gut microbiome than we do. When you pair a quality canine probiotic with that pumpkin fiber, you're essentially doing two things at once. The probiotic introduces beneficial bacteria directly into the gut, and the pumpkin's fiber feeds those bacteria so they can multiply and take hold. It's like planting seeds and then watering them on the same day, instead of planting seeds in dry soil and hoping for rain. I've seen this combination, used consistently, turn dogs with years of chronic soft stool into dogs with completely normal, healthy bowel movements within a month. I've seen dull, flaky coats turn glossy again. I've seen dogs who used to have that unmistakable dog breath start to genuinely smell better, because so much of that odor originates in the gut, not just the mouth. When you're choosing a probiotic, look for one formulated specifically for dogs, ideally with multiple bacterial strains rather than just one, and a guaranteed live colony count on the label rather than a vague claim. Store it the way the label tells you to, because many of these products are sensitive to heat and light, and a probiotic that's lost its potency sitting in a hot cupboard isn't doing your dog any favors. Introduce it the same way you introduce the pumpkin, gradually, starting with a smaller amount and building up over a week or two. I also want to mention plain, unsweetened, unflavored yogurt with live active cultures as an occasional companion to this routine, in small amounts appropriate to your dog's size. It's not a replacement for a proper canine probiotic, but it can be a nice, natural addition for dogs who tolerate dairy well. If your dog is lactose sensitive, skip this one and stick with the pumpkin and a canine-specific probiotic instead. Here's a mid-course thought I want to leave with you, because I think it matters more than people realize. We spend so much money on shampoos, breath treats, coat supplements, and specialty foods, chasing symptoms on the outside. But so many of those symptoms start on the inside, in that gut ecosystem we talked about at the beginning. Fix the foundation, and a lot of those surface problems start resolving themselves, sometimes without you doing anything else at all. If this is helping you see your dog's health a little differently, do me a favor and hit that like button right now, because it genuinely helps this information reach more dog owners who are dealing with the exact same thing you might be dealing with tonight. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe, because I cover real, practical, science-backed pet health topics like this every single week, and you don't want to miss the next one. Let's bring this together with a simple plan you can start tonight. Step 1. Pick up a can of 100% pure pumpkin, or steam and mash your own. Step 2. Start with the lower dosage for your dog's size and mix it into one meal a day. Step 3. After 3 or 4 days, if things are going well, you can move to twice a day. Step 4. Consider pairing it with a quality canine probiotic for a stronger, faster result. Step 5. Keep an eye on your dog throughout, and if anything seems off beyond normal adjustment, get your vet involved right away. I want to leave you with this. Your dog can't tell you when their stomach feels off, when their gut is out of balance, or when something as small as their food is quietly making them uncomfortable every single day. But you can see it in their energy, their coat, their breath, their stool, if you know what to look for. And now you do. This one small change, something that costs less than a cup of coffee, has the potential to add real, tangible quality of life to the years you have left with your dog. Not because it's some miracle cure, but because it works with your dog's biology instead of against it. Try it tonight. Watch what happens over the next few weeks. And drop a comment below and let me know how your dog responds, because I read every single one and I love hearing these stories. Until next time, take care of that gut, and I'll see you in the next video.